me, the ball is meant to be hit and hit hard.
Hook shot, it's out towards the boundary, 4 runs.
Lost his nerve in the end.
Think of hitting the first ball for 4, or he was very a showman like. He's larger than life, loves his food and drink, and he has lived the life to the fullest.
I heard him say, "You bloody Indians," that really, really rattled me. हमारे देश के लिए कोई बोलेगा तो खा जाऊंगा सारे.
There's a friend of yours in school that made you, in a way, discover your wicket-keeping talent.
My benchmate from kindergarten till almost 10th standard was none other than... Podar wasn't the glamorous college those days. All the pretty girls went to Sydenham College and Xavier's College, but kya bawa phas gaya yaar.
You've been the first person to ever play county cricket. First Indian.
We used to get 50 rupees a day. Myself and Sunil Gavaskar were batting against New Zealand or something, winning the match. In 4 days, we had to get about 15-20 runs, and there was half an hour left. So aram se we could have won the game that evening. But all sorts of messages were coming from the dressing room.
There's this incident where you were with Sachin at the bank.
Sachin, when all this money he was making, local bank clerk asked him a routine question. Mr. Tendulkar, are your earnings in excess of 1 million rupees? Sachin shrugged his shoulders and said, Farokh Abdullah nahi bhai, Farokh Engineer. So first ball after lunch, he had a spinner by the name of Lance Gibbs. The first ball of his went straight out of the stadium. I think the ball is still travelling.
Firstly, getting the Lifetime Achievement Award for a Padam Shri, so many matches, first person to play county, like a century in 46 balls. I mean, the list goes on. And I'm so excited about this evening. I'm so happy to have this honor, to have to be able to be the host to commemorate this occasion. So thank you, Farokh, and a big round of applause for this big Lifetime Achievement Award. So going with history and your legendary status, you're a heavy hitter and a very good opening batsman. So let's start straight with, who were the Miss Worlds in your life? Let's open with that. Since you're a good opener.
Boycott is here, Boycott.
Oh my God. If I remember right, this has run you into trouble during giving some Hindi commentary, if I remember.
Yeah. Imagine asking Parsi to do Hindi commentary. I was doing a thing with Kapil Dev at Lord's when it was raining, and 83 World Cup Burman, who was, So we were chatting about it, and India were about to win, and Brian Johnston, who was the lead commentator for BBC Test Match Special, he said, would Mrs. Gandhi declare a public holiday tomorrow? I said, funny you should say so. She's an avid Test Match Special listener, as if Mrs. Gandhi has the time to listen to cricket. And I said, yeah, no doubt she will declare a public holiday, if India win. We literally within 10-15 minutes, we got a call through BBC headquarters onto Lord's Cricket Ground in the commentator's box that Mrs. Gandhi has heard your comments and declared a public holiday. There you go. So I was telling Kapil that, and then Hindi mein commentary kar. I said, meri to gayi.
This is on international television.
I didn't say, kya phat gayi? Meri to phat gayi. And Kapil going like that, kya bola yaar? I said, what? For a Parsi, this is like good morning. Have a cup of tea or something. So that was the end of my Hindi commentating days. Because people pulled the plug and said, to gali deta yaar. I mean, we Parsis, sudara hai. Absolutely.
Also, if you could throw some light on the early days where there's a friend of yours in school who you shared a bench with.
Oh, gosh.
And that made you, in a way, discover your wicket-keeping talent.
Let me take over
So
that.
please.
Went to Don Bosco High School, Dadar Parsi Colony, nearest school. And my benchmate from kindergarten till almost 10th standard was none other than Shashi Kapoor. Actor Lane, his whistle marker used to come around, used to go together. And we had a French teacher called Mr. Lobo, who used to throw those heavy wooden dusters. He should have been a cover point for India because he never missed the skull. He was absolutely terrific. Anyone talking, Shashi and I gappa marte on the last bench. And suddenly from the corner of my eye, I see this duster whizzing right towards Shashi's face. I swear, that was my first slip catch I've ever taken. Inches from his face. I said, Tala, tera ko daku ka role milta tha if the duster hit you. That's
That is
amazing.
beautiful. But through your school life, and then there's a very funny incident as to why you ended up in Poddar of all the colleges. I mean, you were really faring well at the time.
Well, doing my SSC exam, naturally you're worried about the results. I was never a brilliant student. I mean, there are so many doctors and so many eminent people here tonight, that Jimmy is very kindly invited. By the way, Jimmy, thank you from the bottom of my heart that you have honored me like this. It's beyond belief. This appears to be a bigger function than the actual Life Achievement Award function in Hyderabad. But anyway, thank you so much, Jimmy, and all your family.
So you
Poddar
were-
college. SSC exam kiya, yaar. Average student. And I was approached by this Professor Changadkar. I said, can I meet you for a coffee or something? I said, yeah. So what a professor wants to meet me for? He said, I'm responsible for cricket in Poddar College, and I want to have a good team there. I want you to come and sort of sow the seeds. We've got a good coach in V.S. Patil those days and all that. And I was wondering that I said, I haven't even passed my SSC exams yet. No, and you're talking about college. He said, how have you fared in your exams? I said, I'm an average student. Any subject you're worried in? I said, forget any subject. If you give me your word, you'll join Poddar College, I'll make sure you pass your SSC exams. मैं तो खुश बाबा जी बाबा absolute all my friends I'm okay boys, I know my result. As it is, I passed with about 50% or something like that. Wow. Which is nothing. Punes get these days 50%. I think. But I gave him my word and I joined Poddar College. Poddar wasn't the glamorous college those days. All the pretty girls went to Sydenham College and Xavier's College and all, Elphinstone College and all that. But kya bawa phas gaya yaar. Zaban de di thi. I gave my word, but it was a wonderful college just down the road. And then I was telling my wife, driving here, we passed Xavier's College, Elphinstone College. These were the fancied colleges that were winning all the trophies before. And then came Ruya College, Poddar College, and Dilip Venksagar. Dilip was in Poddar, no? Absolute
Absolutely.
fantastic.
Sanjay Manjrekar.
Give Dilip Venksagar a big, big, big hand. And his lovely, lovely wife, Manali. They were my dearest, dearest friends. And I possibly wouldn't be here had not been for Dilip. Because he's in the Apex Council, and I think he's, I don't think but politics is such a thing over here. They forgot Manchester rehta hai, to jane de usko thandi mein. But thank you, Dilip, again, publicly. That I've always said it.
So, in your early days, very few people can, boast of such mentorship. And whether you had your inspiration from Polly Umrigar sir, Nari Contractor sir, and the great JRD Tata himself, if you could please, just talk us through how that impacted your life at the early stage.
Well,
early days.
Polly Umrigar was certainly someone I looked up to very much. Whenever he came and played at Dada Parsi Colony Sporting Club, and I looked up to him, and I admired the great man.
Thank you.
He was a great cricketer, great personality. But JRD Tata, you mentioned one name.
Yes, sir.
I mean, who am I and who is JRD Tata? But he took a liking to me because I was a pilot. I was a qualified pilot as well. That was one of I might have gone into the professions, in the flying profession, but a little thing called cricket got in the way. So that's how I was offered professional contracts in England and all that. When I scored 100 against England at the Brabant Stadium, that was the last test match played at the Brabant Stadium, I think, official test match. JRD used to wear a white safari suit. And he came down, I could see him coming down the steps. And before I entered the pavilion, before I came back in the pavilion, he came literally on the ground and gave me a big hug. And I'm saying, Mr. Tata, I'm sweating. I was sweating profusely, and his safari suit and all that. Anyway, he leads me in the dressing room. I'm dying for a glass of water. All the boys there, well played and all that. And a glass of water above everyone's heads. And it's JRD bringing the glass of water. Wow. I said, sir, please don't.
The humility.
Then I'm sitting down there with a wet towel on my head. And I felt someone take out my buckles. Those days, we used to have buckles. Aajkal to sala Velcro hai na, paisa hai na. We used to have buckles. And I'm thinking, who's taking out my JRD Tata sitting next to
Oh
me.
my God.
I said, Jay, I used to call him Jay, I said, please don't embarrass me. He said, okay, lunch at Bombay House after the test. And this is such a great man he was, and I was privileged. Same with Dhirubhai Ambani. We used to open invitation to have vegetarian thali with him in Maker Chambers, something. Door was always open to me. And then we used to go to Oberoi Health Club and all that. So, I mean, some wonderful, wonderful memories of Mumbai, with the Sunawala families and all that. We're very, very close. Jamshed, Fardun, Rusi, Soli, and all the families. His mum used to go and put sukkar, prayers, whenever I used to go to bat. Thank God I didn't cost her much for sukkars because I came back very quickly. And his mum always told me the story. Piroja, lovely lady. She went to Italy for the first time. She must have been, 70, 80 odd. And she had a bottom pinched. Some Italian came like that and he pinched her bottom. She took out a chappal and bloody ran after him. I said, Piroja, that was a compliment with the pinch your bottom in Italy.
So also, if you could, you've been the first person to ever play county cricket.
Yeah.
And it's first Indian in that sense.
Yeah. I was invited, very first Indian to play professional county cricket. There were a lot of people like Polly Umriga, Ramchand, Gupte, great players. They played in Lancashire leagues. Okay. And the Lancashire leagues were really flourishing because of our top Indian players. But John Arlott, he plied me with Beaujolais and convinced me that I should play for Hampshire in county cricket, where Mark Marshall, Barry Richards, and all, Gordon Greenwich and all played later. Wow. And he said, you'd be very popular here, Farokh, playing county cricket. So I just took it in my stride. Then Somerset was the second county to offer me. Okay. Then Don Kenyon of Worcestershire heard. And Lancashire was the last county. At Lancashire, we played at a game, not at Old Trafford, but a place called Southport, where Dilip's academy, comes. And the railway lines are quite, not too far there. And I kept on hitting this Lancashire opening bowler for about 7 or 8 sixes, till somebody pointed out at tea time that that's the great Brian Statham bowling,
Oh, my God.
We in India are taught to be humble, to respect older cricketers. I almost felt like apologizing to him. The great Brian Statham, and I'm smashing him all over the place. But Lancashire must have been impressed, and they gave me they offered me a contract. Myself and Gary Sobers were the two invited by Lancashire.
Beautiful.
Gary Sobers first, and me to qualify for a year, playing for a club called Haslington in the Lancashire League. But Sobers and Lancashire couldn't agree to terms because he wanted Lancashire to pay off his betting debts. He was a huge gambler. Godas weren't going too well. Godas were running like Gaddas, I think. So, so he went to Nottinghamshire. So I got the opportunity to come as a special registration, and I recommended a guy called Clive Lloyd. You heard of Clive Lloyd?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. And Clive Lloyd was my roommate for the next 10 years. And the only man to give me an inferiority complex.
And we wonder why.
Especially when he came out of the showers.
So well endowed would be a good way to put it.
The guy wasn't human, believe me. I felt like I was in Victoria Gardens.
But 10 years, it turned to a really, really blossomed friendship.
Of course, yeah, sure. We still keep in touch. We are both sort of, pardon me saying, we're both legends of Lancashire. Lancashire initially had 5 all-time Lancashire players as legends. We are both lifetime vice presidents. And
big round, man.
Which is a great honor. And to have a stand named after you and a suite at the Hilton Hotel. My wife and I stayed there for the first night inaugurated. And it's a Farokh Engineer suite, which is our Lancashire Cricket Club is about 100 yards from Manchester United. So Old Trafford and Old Trafford are together. So, it's always full, that place. I don't think there's any room for me anytime. But it's a great honor bestowed on me. And I always said, I said it at the Life Achievement Award, that whatever awards you get abroad are great, but to get something in your own country by your own people. And I was really touched. I got a standing ovation from the whole present Indian cricket team. Rohit Sharma was the first to stand up. And for them to give a standing ovation, they didn't need to.
So it was truly deserved. It was truly deserved.
Their bank balances are like way beyond. We used to get 50 rupees a day.
Oh my God.
Playing test cricket. 250 rupees for a 5-day test match. Myself and Sunil Gavaskar were batting against New Zealand or something, winning the match. In 4 days, we had to get about 15, 20 runs, and there was half an hour left. So aram se we could have won the game that evening. But all sorts of messages were coming from the dressing room. अरे पागल हो, आज गेम मत खत्म करो, कल का 50 रुपए जाएंगे हमारे. So we both started blocking.
Oh my God.
With 1 or 2 runs left the next day. What a cheer went up. Not for our innings, but because it prolonged the game to the next day. 50 rupees a bloody day. Today you give a tip of 100 rupees and they'll look at you. What's wrong? Yeah. But those,
Look at the contrast. There's this incident where you were with Sachin at the bank, and
oh yeah.
yeah.
Sachin.
So what things have come to?
No, I was with him at the bank because I can't afford the same bank. Sachin, when all this money he was making, he was advised to get a credit card. So the local bank clerk, asked him a routine question. Mr. Tendulkar, are your earnings in excess of 1 million rupees? Sachin shrugged his shoulders and said, some days yes, some days no.
My God, that's beautiful. In the same breath, you made so many friends across cricket and across genres. How come you never, I've not heard much between you and Sir Geoffrey Boycott somehow. What was it about him that you loved or didn't love? I would love you to express yourself.
Well, me and Geoffrey Boycott were not on each other's top lists for sending Christmas cards to each other. In fact, I hated the... He was a boring... He didn't want to hit the ball at all. He used to he used to love playing for his averages. And one thing I hold against him, I heard him say, you bloody Indians once. And that really, really rackled me. हमारे देश के लिए कोई बोलेगा तो खा जाऊंगा साले को.
Spoken.
How dare he call us bloody Indians? And I pulled him up. I pulled him up on that, And he didn't like it really. He denied or something, But I heard it very clearly. And since then, I should say, hit the bloody ball. You're too good a player to be blocking him. You're boring the tits out of me behind the stumps, I said. And he used to complain to Dickie Bird that tell Rookie not to sledge me. And Dickie used to say, cut it out, Farokh, cut it out. And as Boycott's back was turned, Dickie used to bloody wink. Nobody liked him really very much. Very selfish cricketer. Very good player. Very, very good player, But ekdam tok, I couldn't stand that. For me, the ball is meant to be hit and hit hard. Yeah. Not just mess around. Place the ball, of course. But he was good enough a player not to do it. I was captaining a World 11 in Toronto. And you heard that story before?
No.
Yeah, and Toronto airport.
Yeah.
And he had his cricket bat in his hand. And the Canadian security official didn't know anything about cricket. He said, sorry, sir, we can't let you carry that bat on the aircraft. We consider that as an offensive weapon. I had to interrupt very quickly. I said, officer, you haven't seen him bat.
He never uses it.
Offensive weapon? Ghanta sala dig.
Oh my God. I mean, this is just beautiful.
You're bringing out the worst in me.
No, sir. I'm just...
Keep going.
I actually have no work left here, so I'm so happy to be here in this seat with nothing to do. But, sir, there is this huge honor that there was a World 11 and you were selected an opener at the World 11. And this is the best team in the world they're selecting at a time where...
Yeah,
could you please share a little on that?
It was called the Elite World 11, where the South African tour to England was cancelled. And this was an impromptu team selected by Sir Don Bradman, Sir Frank Worrell, and Sir Len Hutton. The three.
Wow.
And I was indeed, highly privileged, hugely honored to be the number one wicket-keeper batsman in the world. Because there was Alan Knott, who was top class. I had the highest regards for him, and Rodney Marsh and all these guys were there, And to be, to have precedence over them was And I was the only Indian. But next time, the World 11 that was played in Australia, there was Sunil Gavaskar and Bishan Bedi with me.
Okay.
So it's the first time I was on my own.
With your own as well
Next
at
time.
the world level.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
beautiful. Sir, I would like to know that there is definitely something hugely sexy about this man, because at a time, Brylcreem has endorsed him. This is the same brand that has now endorsed David Beckham, just for you to get context here. And
was
with
just-
your Elvis Presley hairlocks
Oh, wow.
and that whole look going, and a few Miss Worlds in the rooms, and a few things going.
And I was just
How
reminded.
how was that whole zone?
I was reminded because I'm getting so much glare from the, from some of the foreheads here. And I thought they've never heeded my advice. And yeah, Brylcreem, getting 50 rupees a day and suddenly getting this Brylcreem offer, which Keith Miller from Australia was the first, Dennis Compton from England, who was a double international, soccer and cricket. And I was the third person. And to be bracketed with those guys, and I got paid £2,000
Wow.
from not bloody 50 rupees. Salam, hum to lottery lag gaye yaar. I thought £2,000, and that carried on for a few years. The contract that I was not supposed to, but those days to be approached by Brylcreem was like being on the cover of Vogue magazine, something international. It was a really big thing they made out of it. They flew me to England.
It's a big thing even today, sir.
Yeah,
It is still
yeah,
a very,
well-
very big thing.
Yeah, and David Beckham, as you say, has been doing it nowadays. Sorry for the guys who didn't take my advice.
No, but you've lived a very, very flamboyant life. But honestly, that has kind of costed you at one point. And could you reflect on that situation? And also, what do you think can happen to reduce politics in sports?
Well, I don't think you'll ever reduce politics in sport. I don't know about, I'm not too au fait with what's happening in Indian sport. But I'm delighted that people like Dilip Vengsarkar, he should be running Indian cricket for me.
Big hand of applause
He
there.
should be running Indian cricket. This man has produced so many test cricketers, young Jaishwal, you name it and all that. He's produced them from being ordinary kids sleeping on the Maidans. And his foundation, please give him all the support you can, because he does so much for the country. I'm not saying this because Dilip is my friend, but I've seen him every year when he brings his academy to England. Half the number of kids can't afford to pay their fares, and Dilip's foundation pays for them, and provides them with kits and all that. And those kids must be so grateful to Dilip for the. Hamare time mein koi nahi tha. No, there was no coaching, but just to imagine a person of the stature of Dilip Vengsarkar just being amongst them, just encouraging them, and bringing them, giving them the confidence, and that's why I'm saying this man should be running Indian cricket. People like him. He's on the Apex
It's a round of
Council,
applause, please.
and that's the one step. But Dilip, I know you get a lot of kudos, a lot of honors, but you deserve the highest, buddy. I mean that very sincerely. He's also my single malt drinking partner.
Oh, okay.
I had water on my chest, in my lungs, and I spent 3 days in intensive care unit at Jaslok Hospital. Maya Baap, God forbid anyone goes to Jaslok Hospital. But anyone from Jaslok here? I'll never be bloody admitted there again. But,
Oh, my God.
but look, the doctor was very, very good. JRD Tata, Rusi very kindly put me in touch. Excellent doctors there, and all that. But they said, I've got fluid on my lungs. I said, the only fluid can be scotch and soda. I said,
They can't be.
But thank God I'm all right now. And Thank God I'm here today. And Jimmy, I never expected this, but then I know you. When you do something, you do it proper.
He was so happy to have you because his whole theme for today is from hearts to innovation and from love inspiring entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And what bigger person than you who's always worn his heart on his sleeve and
I
live from your heart.
hugely admire Jimmy because from the day I've met
We
him,
all do.
he's shown what entrepreneurial spirit he's got. We were at Ravi Shastri's house the other night. I can't remember much of it because we had dinner at about 2 o'clock in the morning. But we had a blast with Michael Atherton, and Dilip should have been there too. But they were all. Ravi was telling me how much he was supposed to come tonight. He's supposed to come from Alibag, so he might be walking in any time, gangling. But Jimmy, you achieved so much in our community. You've done so much for the Parsi community. So much done for the Indian community. He should be applauded hugely. You should be sitting on this bloody chair, not me. हम तो खाली ball पकड़ते रहो मारते थे यार. But you're the one who's really, really given jobs to people. Your army thing that you took us to, with Sunil Gavaskar came. You thought it was a practical joke. From your Della resorts to there is like an hour's drive on bumpy roads and all that. And Sunil Gavaskar thought I was pulling a fast one on him, when he finally arrived. But what a magnificent place, like an oasis in the desert. Your whole army unit, commander unit, and you got the major general there or someone like that to look after it. I mean, who would take pains to do that? Why does he have to do it? He's doing it for India's sake. And that is absolutely fantastic and truly commendable, Jimmy.
Thanks,
And
Jimmy.
you're blessed with a lovely, lovely, lovely family, which is so important. I've been blessed. This is my wife, Julie. Julie, stand up and give them a wave.
Oh. This is what's holding you back in Lancashire.
She's my right hand, left hand. At my award, I said, मैं देसी हूँ, हाथ से ही खाना खाता हूँ. दूसरा हाथ से मैं क्या करता हूँ मुझे मालूम नहीं. And Rohit Sharma was killing on the floor. He was laughing.
So there's been another lady who has had an impressionable, part in your life. And God bless her soul, she's no more the Queen of England. And you've had a few incidents. I would love to hear some of those.
Well, the real lady who had a great, great impression on my life was my mother. Wow. My mother, I was hugely privileged. Rusi, of course, met her. My mother, my father, and my brother Daras. These were the three inspirations in my life. My mom sacrificed her whole life. She died of cancer. We didn't even know what she passed away. She was at Tata Memorial Hospital. I was playing in a Rajkot Ranji Trophy. And I'd never been summoned from a cricket match before. And suddenly said, your mother is seriously ill. I knew she was going for observation. And next thing, I'm being summoned from the match. Your mother is quite serious. And the last flight from Ahmedabad had gone. I was batting, actually. I was batting on about 80 or 90, something like that. I said, I've just got to go to Bombay to see my mum. And the last flight had gone from, it was waiting at Ahmedabad. And so this Shatru Shalya Singh, the Maharaja of,
Of Kashmir.
Jamnagar.
Of Jamnagar.
तो कश्मीर की तो पारसी है क्या? भाई फारूक अब्दुल्ला नहीं भाई, फारूक इंजीनियर. So Shatru Shalya Singh had this all left-hand Chevrolet Cadillac convertible.
Nice.
And this driver with a turban driving about 3 miles per hour. I said, कितना दूर है अहमदाबाद? मतलब 120 माइल के something like that. I thought, हम तो नहीं पहुंचेंगे वहाँ, So I said, आप यहाँ आइए, मुझे drive करने दो. I'd never driven a left-hand drive car before, but I must have driven about 80, 100 miles per hour. We reached Ahmedabad airport. The flight was actually delayed by that captain because flight was full. He asked the passengers that, Farokh Engineer's mother is ill, he's got to go. Would anyone be willing to give the seat? I was told each and every passenger offered to give me their seat. Wow. And then the pilot thought, this is ridiculous. I'll get him in the jump seat. So I was in the jump seat, and I thanked everyone very much. When I went to Bombay, I was straight to Tata Memorial Hospital. I was by her bedside. And naturally I was crying. You know, she had her hand on my head. She said, "Don't cry, son. I'll come back to you as your first child." Wow. You know, she told me that. So I knew I was going to get a daughter. And at Lord's, before the first test match, the Queen was there. You know, and they sent a message, telegram to Clarendon Court Hotel. Telegram those days, Billy Griffith was the chairman of the MCC or president. He opened the telegram, morning of the match, could be whatever news. Yeah. And he gave it to Her Majesty the Queen, who was like, 10 paces from us. And as the lip knows, on the morning of a test match, always you're introduced to the royal family there, And the Queen saw the match. She smiled and came towards me. They always call you engineer. They never call you Farokh or Mr. Engineer like that, which is bloody bakwas, yeah. Surname se kya bulata hai? Call me Rookie, I was going to say. Yeah. I'll call you Lizzie. He said, "I've got some wonderful news for you." So I knew it could be only one thing. I said, "What's it, a boy or a girl, ma'am?" He said, "What did you want?" I said, "I know I'm going to get a girl." She said, "Well, you've got one." Wow. And my eldest daughter is named after my mother, Minnie, which was, But the same story about Queen. Yeah. We had a manager called Colonel Adhikari, Hemu Adhikari. He loved his peanuts. So much so, mutta marega, yahan se, mutta marega. And he used to flick, slight gap here, fat straight in the gap. Ye gir bhi gaya to backflip, back in the mouth. The Colonel was an exponent of that, Yeah. And he had just grabbed 2 big handfuls, muttas, and the door opened, plush red carpet, the Queen's open shoes and all that. And the doorman announced, Her Majesty the Queen. The first thing she, takes, "Hello, Colonel, how are you?" Hadya. The Colonel got peanuts in both hands. He realized it's tuck peanuts are going on the bloody red carpet, couple in the Queen's shoes. And the Duke said, "Colonel, you like your peanuts, don't you?" But it was a lovely evening. And
your biography of your book, the foreword has been written by none other than the British Prime Minister. So if you could, tell us what was your relationship with him like, how did he come in your life, and how did he come to write that foreword?
Well, when he came to know that someone was doing this book for me, it's a biography. There have been 3 biographies on me, The first one, and he was in the room, in the committee room, and he said, "Farokh, I heard you're doing a biography. Would you do me the great, huge honor, would you do me the honor of writing a little foreword for you?" I said, that's a huge compliment, Prime Minister. Yeah. John Major is an extremely nice person, and very, very, quite a simple man in a way. Time and again, he's been at Old Trafford with us, and he loves his gin. I remember asking him first time, I said, "John, what would you like with your gin?" So he just leans forward and says, "Some more gin." I mean, this is typical British humor, But I think he meant it as well. Chota bag mat do. Tu Parsi hai, main Sardar hu. But I mean, and he's actually stayed at our house when he was Prime Minister. Oh, wow. Yeah. Wow. Which was very confidential. But I shouldn't say that.
Well, he is a security risk.
Second time he came, he didn't stay with his wife. Yeah, lovely person, John Major. We'll close that subject, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, sir, absolutely. So it's been brilliant speaking to you, sir, from all your experiences. But you have missed out on a few about you and Sir Nawab Pataudi, and that we have to hear a bit.
Yeah, Tiger was a very, very dear friend. In fact, when I scored my century at Chipok, at Madras, he just kept on saying, "Hats off, really. I've not seen an innings like that before." He kept on saying that.
The 46 balls, 100.
Yeah, 47 actually. I was 46. I was 94. No, sorry. It was 46.
It is 46,
yeah.
sir.
Yeah. I was 94 before lunch, and Dilip Sardesai was my non-striker. I was 92 with 2 overs to go. I hooked Wes Hall, and Rohan Kanai, a deep square leg, dives and stops a full and drive. The ball ricocheted from his hand. Easy 2. But all I heard from Dilip was nako, nako, nako. And he blocked the 5 balls. I'm not blaming him. Huh? He was a great cricketer, Dilip. Last over, extra cover drive. Clive Lloyd, of all people, dived full length. And the ball again ricocheted. We could have easily got 2. But what did I get from Dilip? Nako, nako, nako.
Again.
So anyway, I was 94 last. I was very happy that I was not out. So everyone coming, oh, yeah, only Don Bradman or something has got this bloody record. I said, I don't deserve to be in that bracket. So first ball after lunch, they had a spinner by the name of Lance Gibbs.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
He was fast.
Anyway, that first ball of his went straight out of the stadium. I think the ball is still traveling. They never found it and got my 100.
Wow, so it was outside the stadium. Wow.
So anyway, when I came in the dressing room, all the boys, and Tiger kept on saying, absolute, I raised my hat off. Oxford mein sikha hoga na. And he said, I don't have a hat.
Tip the hat.
I don't have a hat, but I'm going to give you my cap.
Wow.
And he gave me his cap, which I've got till this day.
Beautiful.
I've treasured it. Yeah. If anyone gives me a good offer, I do. But actually, Hemu Adhikari gave me his jacket also. After the Oval Test, 71. Are you going to ask me about that?
Yes, please. I would love to hear about the 71 where you brought us victory on foreign soil.
No, 71 was the year we beat England in England. People think that 1983 was the renaissance of Indian cricket. But I wouldn't totally agree there because we beat England in England, Australia in Australia, West Indies in the West Indies, all in the 70s, And how can they say that 83 did a great job? But Dilip was part of the team and Kapil and all that. And Burman did the commentating. Burman came and stayed at my house. He even grew my bloody sideburns, And you did a fantastic job in that, Burman, because
Round of
the
applause
man
to
you
Pawan,
are,
yeah.
man of many talents. Honestly, you should be bigger than Amitabh Bachchan, I think. No? But I've heard is in Dubai. What did you invite me for? What were you doing there, Burman? Live band. Absolutely fascinating to hear. If you ever get a chance listening to Burman, I was all ears. I came there with my daughter, Scarlett, who works in Dubai. And you were absolutely brilliant. And everyone, the whole auditorium enjoyed it so much. So I mean, it was really worth. And what you did in the 83 commentary, when I tell people that it was Burman who played my part really, as a commentator. And you did a great job there. Thank you.
My God, this is so beautiful how you are. And to tell you honestly, at Della Leaders Club, what Jimmy has always been imbibing is this spirit of inspiring and making people want to become more entrepreneurs. And even our podcast that we're doing called Taking Charge is about, doing inspirational podcasts like these.
Is this being recorded?
This is.
Yes, sir.
We'll bleep that out. We'll bleep that out. No, there's technology now. So you don't have to worry. So we're going to take care of that. But honestly, this will be, I think, hugely inspirational for people for coming out of the other Parsi colony and then achieving those great heights.
Yes.
Meeting the top people and the best, excelling at world cricket. Being a wicket keeper as a first,
look
along
at the
with
other
such a
Parsi
batting
colony.
opener.
I've got a couple of great stalwarts sitting here. Sunnawalas.
Yes.
I mean,
without a doubt, sir.
You name. Rusi and I were at a Parsi wedding. We are eating with our right hands, and left hand we're shaking hands with all the people. Typical Parsi weddings. And one Parsi lady said, "Rusi or ketnik? Do you recognize me?" And the Rusi, being ever so polite, kept on saying yes. Then I said, "Rusi, you don't see the faces that often, do you?"
Amongst you're an absolute polymath with multiple talents, flying, cricket, your modeling days, all of that. But honestly, if you were to pull back 50 years, there's one career open. It's called being a stand-up comedian, and you would have killed that one too.
No,
Not a
but
doubt.
seriously, on the point of Jimmy, what an inspiration to young guys. If a young boy from Parsi colony can become a test cricketer and play internationally, if a young entrepreneur like Jimmy Mistry,
Yes.
I mean, these are the example. Rusi Sonawala here,
Yeah.
and so many others from Parsi colony. We're a small community here, and the amount he's done for the community. And look at his house. It's like an Agyari. Absolutely. And God
It's
has
a
blessed
stunning
him.
architecture.
Those who have been to Della resorts, I don't know. I've stayed in the
Beautiful.
Versace room. Everything is Versace. Versace even spelled correctly.
But
Gucci nahi, huh? No, sorry, all genuine stuff, all marble and all that. But I mean, it takes guts. It takes real guts to invest that and to have belief in yourself.
and now having a mission to create so many more entrepreneurs and giving them a common platform.
Sure.
It's beautiful, Jimmy. Way to go. But I would say for that illustrious life that you've led, the kind of inspiration you've created, the energy with which you live, the love, the laughter. Your birthday is on 21st Feb. I would love to wish you for that birthday. And I hope we can all give you a standing ovation for this beautiful interaction you've given us today. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's indeed an honor. It's indeed an honor. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Farokh Engineer first came to St. Mary's School as a speaker, and he signed on a bat, and I would be staring that bat in the cupboard for years and years and years. And never would I believe that someday I would get to meet him. I finally got to meet him about 20 years ago at the Parsi colony in Navroz celebrations. Farokh, I want to say this in front of all these wonderful people. This is one of the most delightful tributes that I have attended. Simply because the spirit of the man, he's not sitting here and he's not talking like a serious old, wise old Mandarin. He's speaking like Farokh Engineer, the kid from Dadar Parsi colony, who's still the little kid, and a legend who we have no idea how big he really is. I love you, Farokh, from the bottom of my heart. May your 86 years turn into as long as you wish, as long as you laugh, and as long as you can eat, and as long as you can drink, and as long as you can welcome us into your big home. You are the most darling man that I've ever met. Ladies and gentlemen, Farokh Engineer, thank you.
I'm so happy you're here. It's your birthday. Amazing celebration and a proud moment for the entire Parsi community, for a fellow Parsi to be honored by the BCCI as with a Lifetime Achievement Award of 2024. So it's all in all put together. It's your time, it's your day, and it's my humble submission to you. Stay with us, keep laughing, keep smiling, keep making us laugh and inspire us so we can lead a life like yours. Thank you.
I still remember when he was 5, 6 years old, on the road, going to school, he would not be walking. He would be doing all bowling actions. So cricket was in his blood right from young days. The second thing which I remember, I was in Manchester and you had the yellow Celica and you were busy. So you told me, just take the car and go around. And believe me, anywhere I stopped, within a few seconds, there'll be 10, 15 boys thinking it was Farokh. And when I would get out of the cab, they would get so disappointed and just walk away. And if you remember, Mini was delivered on the day when Queen was to felicitate you, when you told me to do it. We had planned the delivery, and it was... And it really worked well, because she delivered around 4 in the evening. Well, in UK it was about 12. So that the message went exactly when you were being felicitated. And it's a great pride for me to be a close friend of yours.
I think flamboyant was first time in my life. That word, if there was one association that was there, was you, Farokh Engineer. And that was, I think, decades ago. But I can tell you, that flamboyance was nothing. This is flamboyance. And this, may God continue this flamboyance forever. What an inspiration. What an evening. And Salil, fantastic job. Amazing job.
What if Farokh Engineer was born in this era of the IPL? There wouldn't be a bigger star. For the cricket he played, for the manner in which he played, for the personality he exudes, he would have brought crowds flocking to the stadium. Television broadcasters would have tripped over themselves to feature him. And it was money back guarantee, entertainment promised all the time.
Farokh, I have to say this, that I've been in love with the Parsi community. Especially, I've been in love with a man called Sam Bahadur Manekshaw. And after that, if there's any Manekshaw I would love, is Farokh Manekshaw Engineer. You know, that's something which many people don't know about. And I should add this, and Dilip is here. Of course, all heroes are here. There never will be. Yes, sir, we grew up falling in love with you on television. And I spoke to Baman and he said, he's a lucky bloke that he spent days and nights with you. The most handsomest cricketer ever, Farokh Engineer. Thank you. Thank you.